everybody, this is Michael. I'm here in my not so technologically advanced music room with my beloved Taylor Jumbo guitar. I love this thing. Today we're going to talk about chords, and this is going to be an unusual lesson in that my goal here is to unlock the chords for you. So what that means is that by the time we're done with the lesson series, you're going to know exactly what every chord means and how to form it from a technical level, which I'll explain to you very easily. We're going to unlock these chords. So if somebody throws at you, saying they need a C minor 7, you'll be like, oh yeah, okay, I know how to do a C minor 7. That's just, a C with an added 7 and a flat 3. That makes no sense right now, probably to most of you, but I'm going to explain this to you in very simple, plain terms, and you're going to get it. Trust me, you will get it. It's really not that complicated. So that's what you're going to learn. Now, today we're going to just talk about some of the most basic chords. We're going to talk about the major chord, the minor chord, and we're going to talk about what chords are. And then toward the end, we'll talk about the major and minor 7th chords. Sounds technical, but you're really going to love this because when you see this and when you hear it, it's going to be so easy that you're going to embrace it, okay? All right, so let's get started. First, let's start with the major chord. Now, I'm going to explain to you what a chord is to start with. There's a major chord is sort of your starting chord. It's your basic core chord. Everything kind of is built off the major chord. Now, if you understand how music works, you understand that in music, there's a scale, and a scale is 8 notes. So a C major scale would go C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So you go from C all the way back to C. So technically speaking, there's only 7 different notes in the scale, and then the 8th one is just that C again, an octave higher. Okay? So C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Now, to form a major chord, and let's say you wanted to form a C chord, okay? We're going to work with C chords because C's are easy. There's no sharps or flats or anything like that. But anyway, if you wanted to form a C chord, all you would need to do is take the first note, which is the root note, which is C in the scale, the third note in the scale, and the 5th note in the scale. Now, if you combine the first, the third, and the 5th notes in the scale, you always get a major chord. Okay? All the other chords are basically built around that, like I mentioned before. So in a C scale, what we have is the C, we skip the D, E, we skip the F, G. So C, D, E, F, G, C, F, G, C, F, G. Okay? First, third, 5th. Now, if you pick apart a standard major C chord, you'll find that's in there. There's your C. There's your E, there's your G, there's your C again, and then your E again, okay? So some of the notes repeat just to make the chord sound fuller, but it's just those same 3 notes. And you can even play this E at the top, although most people prefer not to, but it's technically part of the chord, okay? That's a major chord, 1st, 3rd, and 5th. Now, if you want to take a major chord and turn it into a minor chord, there's only one thing you need to do, okay? You take that 3rd note of the scale and you flatten it. So, if I wanted to play, let's do in this case an A major chord, okay? So there's my A major chord. You probably know that shape. If not, take a look. An A major chord would be the 1st, 3rd, and 5th note of the scale. So that's going to be A, C, E. A, C, E, okay? So let's look if we've got that. We've got A here. We've got E here. We've got A again. We've got C, and in this case, because it's an A scale, it's actually a C sharp. And then we've got E again, okay? So A, C, E, ace. Okay, so we want to make this into a minor chord, right? All we've got to do is flatten the 3rd note of the scale, which is the what? The C, okay? So if we take this C in our A major chord and we flatten it, so I'm going to change the chord shape to flatten that C right there, okay? So we're just basically shifting. These two strings are going to stay the same. I'm just moving this finger from here to here. That gives me the minor chord. The minor chord is sad, kind of depressing, kind of nice sometimes. Okay? So all we're doing is taking the third note of that scale and flattening. Same thing if you want to do a C chord and you wanted to make it a C minor chord, take it from C major and make it C minor, then of course all you would have to do is flatten the third, which would be the what? C, E, G, so it would be the E, that third note. C, there's technically a D in here, C, D, E, F, G, C, E, G. So we want to flatten the E, we've got ourselves a minor chord, okay? That's it. Now all the other chords are built on that. So I mentioned I would briefly talk about a seventh chord. So what is a seventh major chord? Or a major seventh chord? That would be like taking, let's say this A again, okay? And adding the seventh note of the scale to it. All I'm doing is taking the A major chord, and because it says A7, it's like saying A plus the seventh note of the scale. So what's the seventh note of the major scale? It would be A, B, okay, so A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So G is my seventh note. So all I've got to do is add that G. So if I've got my major, if I got my A major chord and I want to add the G, I could do this a couple ways. I could put it here. That would be an A7. Or I could also lift this finger and then just sound out this G right here, which is usually the way it's played, actually. Now let's say I wanted to make this a minor major seventh chord. Well, okay, well I'll take the A major seventh chord and I'll make it minor, right? What would I do? Well, besides adding the seventh, I just flatten the third. So again, I take this note here and I'd flatten it. So now instead of getting just a pure minor chord, I've got the minor chord plus the seventh, which gives me a little different tonality. So here's the pure minor chord, and then here's the minor 7. So it's a little brighter, a little cheerier, kind of introspective. Okay? You can play with these chords, you can have fun with this. I do recommend that you practice this a little bit, play around, taking a chord shape like a major E chord or a G chord. You can even do it with your bar chords. Play around with it and turn them into minor chords and turn them into seventh chords, okay? And if you want to do this major chord shape that you can move all over the place, if you want to make that a minor, you lift this finger. This is always going to flatten the third because that's the third note of the scale. Becomes a minor chord, okay? If you want to make it a seventh, then you lift this finger off, and that always makes it a seventh. All right? Pretty cool. If you lift this and this, you've got the 7 plus the flat third, which makes it a minor 7. Okay? Just like we did over here. We talked about chord shapes. We talked about major chords, minor chords, how major chord is made of the root, meaning the first note of the scale, the third and the fifth note of the scale. And if we want to make a minor chord, we just flatten that third note one. And then if we want to make a seventh chord, we just add the seventh note to the scale, okay? In close, I hope you practice this. I hope you enjoy it. I hope it was easy for you. Please leave your feedback below so I know you watched it. I know people are watching. And tell me what you thought of the lesson. If you have any questions, I will answer them. If there's anything you would have liked to seen or didn't make sense to you or you think I did a crummy job of, just let me know. Take care. Thanks. This is Michael. Bye.